Hey, it's Alan Berg. Before we get into this episode, I'm starting something called Ask Me Anything. That's right. You submit your questions and they could become an entire episode or something that I answer at the end of an episode. To submit your questions, look for the red button at podcast.alanberg.com. That's right, podcast.alanberg.com. Click on the red button, submit your question, and maybe you'll hear it here on the podcast. Thanks. Should you include weekly tips on planning in your follow-ups? This is an Ask Me Anything. Listen to this episode. Welcome to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Berg. I'm a speaker, author, sales trainer, website reviewer, and I help businesses like yours sell more, profit more, and have more fun doing it. Enjoy this episode. Hey, it's Alan Berg. Welcome back to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. This is another Ask Me Anything, this time from Justin. Thank you, Justin. And the question was, when you're doing your follow-ups, I think the question that they were asking was the follow-ups and you haven't had a conversation yet, should you be including things like planning tips in your emails to them? And for me, it opens up a bigger question, which is what is the content of your follow-ups at different points, right? From initial inquiry until you get the conversation, from conversation till you get the meeting, the call, the Zoom, the tour, whatever it is. And then even after that, and then after the sale, what are your follow-ups, or are you doing anything between there and the event? So there's a bunch of different parts to this, Justin, that you kind of opened up this Pandora's box for me. So thank you very much. So let's talk about the first one. Between when they made an inquiry and you get them to a conversation, meaning they reply to you at all, right? So you respond to them, you haven't heard back, you're sending more messages out. So are you including, or should you include planning tips at that point? In the beginning, I would say no. I think that's a little bit too early. You can put some of that stuff on your website. Certainly a blog is a good place to put that. But I think at the point of the inquiry, you want to be talking to them about them, their results, their wedding, their event, their mitzvah, the corporate event, their kinsey, their fundraiser, whatever it is. A little bit later, if you're still getting ghosted and you want to put them into a drip campaign and you want to add value that way, I think that's fine. But I would be going probably 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 messages before I would start just sending them information that way for those longer term ones. And we've seen that in our secret shopping sometimes, and I think it could be effective. Where I think the ones that we've seen have gone awry is that very often they're too long, right? So, or there's too many things about the message. It's not just about here's a tip, but then there's also like 2 more pages on a smartphone worth of information about the company, which I think is just too much at that point. You want to add value, add value. You want to start that article or whatever you want to call it, and then have them click through to your blog or someplace for it. I think that's fine. You want to keep it short. Maybe tease them. Here's 3 things you could, 5 ways you can, 3 things you should know, 7 things you can do, or don't do this until you've, done these 4 things. And then you could maybe list the 4 and say, if you want the full version, click here, send them over to another page. PDFs, I think, are a problem at this point because if people are reading on their phone, the PDFs aren't really formatted for that. So I would also try to make them helpful, but if you can tie them into your business type, your category, right? So if you're a caterer, then it's about the food. If you're a DJ or a band or something, it's about the music. If you're a photographer or video, it could be, best places to take photos, or, 6 things you should know about having a wedding film made for your before you choose your wedding videographer or something. Just things that will help them. The way you write them is also important. I remember reading a book that they talked about how if you make the test, you always get 100, right? So you always get an A if you make the test. So 7 things you should ask, or 7 things you should ask or before you choose your fill in the blank. Well, obviously you're a good answer to all those 7 things. So, but do make it helpful. Don't make it just about you because people will see through that. I was reading something the other day and it said that Gen Z has really, really keen BS detectors. So make it really useful information. And it's often said that, if you give away some of the best of what you have, people will want more, as opposed to giving away the cheap stuff. And then how do they even know you have better stuff? So I guess that's kind of like the podcast, right? I just give it all away here. And if you want to know more, you reach out to me. That's fine. And a lot of you have. Thank you. So Justin, what you incorporate in these, and you said weekly emails. Well, the timing of that also, maybe it's weekly, maybe it's not. In the beginning, I think it's much closer than that. As you get later, it could be further than that. I have some automations that are, it's 2 days between this one and the next one, then it's 3 days on the next one, but then it's 7 days on the one after that. But then it's only 3 days on the one after that. Then it might be another seven, then it might be 14, and then it might be 30, right? So is it weekly? I don't know, but you want to add information there. So if you can come up with a series of evergreen documents, pages, things like that. And I don't mind you having a PDF for a download from a mobile responsive web page. Give them the choice. I do that at my events. People get the freebie that I'm offering on a web page, and you can click to download it if you want it, on a PDF. That would be fine. So what is the information that, when I say evergreen, information that's not going to go bad, it's not going to go stale, it's not going to get out of date quickly. And if there are certain things that will, make sure you update them and don't keep sending those out. So Matt Campbell has myweddingsong.com. Myweddingsong.com has great information and great lists about music. So if you're a band or a DJ or whatever, it could be the top 20 fill in the blank, country, hip hop, whatever songs for weddings or first dance songs or whatever. So things like that, where you could also share third-party information. I think that's also another great way to be adding value to people. So I would try to keep it close to what you do so that there's a connection, right? As opposed to if, you're you're the cake baker and you're giving them information about favors. Okay, well, what does it have to do with cakes? It doesn't, right? Now, if you have a tie-in with them where they're going to offer a discount to your people, you're going to offer to theirs, okay, maybe cross-promotion. I don't mind cross-promotions. I think that's fine. But in general, I love the idea, Justin, of adding value. Just make sure that it works for the format, that they're going to read it, make it quick and easy, and let them look back on you as being helpful as opposed to salesy every time. So that's one way to add value every time every touch point. So I think that's great. So this is, again, another Ask Me Anything, this time from Justin. Thank you so much. If you haven't asked me anything, go to podcast.alanberg.com. There's a button there that says Ask Me Anything. Click and send that in. Be happy to take a look at it. And if we haven't covered it, I'd love to do that. And again, if you haven't subscribed already, please do that. And if you're on Apple or a platform that lets you post a review, recent reviews are the most important. We look forward to yours. Thanks. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wedding Business Solutions podcast. If you liked it, please subscribe to this channel and post a review on your chosen platform, Apple Podcasts or whichever one. If you have any questions about anything in this episode or any of my episodes, email me directly at alan@weddingbusinesssolutions.com or visit my website, alanberg.com, alanberg.com. If you have any suggestions for future topics or guests that you'd like to see, please again, email me or visit my website. Thanks for listening.